goodness, Monkley with the dodge.
What a beautiful charge dash from Meldon to save him that faster.
Is that faster?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Meldon gets it. Got it.
Oh, this is fine. What a save.
Oh
my god.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another match of the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. I'm Poogle, and I'm here with Sikinar. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Today's first match of the day, we have Skulblaka versus Acridstingray. Now, Skull is the 45th seed, while Acrid is the 52nd seed. I'm excited.
Me too. It's gonna be fun.
Be good. Now, as you can see by the stats, Skull is a keyboard and mouse player, while Acrid is a controller player.
Yeah, and Acrid has been doing good with controller. They've already experienced a mishap with their controller due to technical issues, but they played it off really well last time. So I'm fingers crossed that their controller will be nice this time. But either way, I think they're gonna be fine.
Considering apparently that he's on a new controller from yesterday, he had to switch. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that'll be good. Hopefully it won't be too much of an adjustment thing. I don't know if the controllers are different, by design, but... And actually, I believe Acrid just recently PB'd as well. It's displaying the 3630, but I think a 35 was recently acquired literally today, so...
It was acquired about an hour ago, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yeah, almost, right before this.
So, the PB he just got was a 3539. So, and it looks like we are ready to go already.
Awesome.
And in just one moment, we will be good to go. Apologies for that. I just had to sneeze.
Yeah. Gotta get it out of the way before the race starts.
Absolutely, I do. And it looks like our runners are started.
Great. Good prologue skips.
No
see if either of them
Fox
go for the color code here.
does not appear so. Which is in some ways a good thing, because sometimes you get stuck with either like a really dark purple Ori or this like kind of light lavender purple, which matches the background, and then you can't see yourself, and then you fall into water and die.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes in tourney races it's better safe than sorry for that kind of thing. For the beginning, it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's going to be getting their first save and then going down to sign, which is technically the first skill in the game. So.
Considering that we need to break up a lot of brambles, kill a lot of things, sign is pretty useful for that.
Yeah. Technically, historically, it has been done without sign, but in this category, we are going to be collecting every single skill. So you can expect that wheel at the bottom to be full by the end of it.
Most categories collect sign, one doesn't, but as you said, we are going to collect every single skill in the game, even if we have to go out of our way to get a couple, 'cause sometimes they're only useful for one or two tricks.
Mm-hmm. And something worth mentioning is that it's cool that we have a keyboard and a controller player up against each other, because certain things such as like a method of fire is going to change depending on what input scheme you're using. For some, rhythm is more important than mashing speed, such as using like a scroll wheel as opposed to a controller button for using sign.
So we'll have to see how Acrid, if he decides to pace his shots or just mash away. Looks like he's pacing.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be doing a rhythm. I wonder if I wonder how much of an adjustment is being factored in because of the new controller. I'd hope that would be a minimum, but...
Oh, and Acrid getting an unfortunate health drop there, so we might be at 2 for the Ghost Door.
From what I can tell, he is at 2, so that might cost him a bit of a second or so. But he does go for the fish, which does make it a little faster. Actually, both ended up going for the fish, from what I could tell, because they had 2 health.
Skull looked like she had 2 health as well in that, but it's okay, because both runners are going to go back up to full, getting this health cell. Most runners do choose to take it. It's a really great safety measure, and it means that they don't have to go through the elbow with 1 or 2 health, which is always scary.
Yeah, it makes the early game a lot more consistent. And they are going to be doing experience routing, something I don't know if either of them intentionally go for an early or a late level up. The difference is rather minimal, but I guess we'll find out. Because they're going to want to... I'm sorry?
Sorry?
I was gonna say, tactically, it's beneficial to take that level up near the bottom of this area.
And both runners going for the
They
damage
both went for the damage boost, yeah. So they had really good XP going down into there, which is...
Oh no!
So it looks like Acrid will have to repeat a bit of this routing due to that death.
Oh, whatever damage he ended up taking from the brambles, he ends up
Yeah,
getting...
which is just too much.
Oh.
It's really hard to keep track of damage through the elbow simply because there is a lot going on, and then the damage boost as well factors into that.
Alright, so it looks like he took a damage from the slime this time. Oof. Deaths and Glades are always just really not feeling good.
Yeah, it's always it can be pretty mentally challenging to take a death in Glades. So once again, similar XP route. So Acrid went for the damage boost, but snagged the health on the flower, so everything is good.
And he dodged the slime, so he'll be leveling up on the way up and will not die again.
So Skull is going to be actually leaving the elbow going the same way that she entered, and now with the second ability, so you can tell that there's going to be a lot more acrobatics featured with Ori.
Yeah, and Skull's heading down to the lovely, lovely place that is Blackroot Burrows. Do you have anything to say about Blackroot, Sicky?
I have a lot to say about Blackroot Burrows. It's not all positive, but I do have a lot to say.
Is any of it stream safe?
When you say stream safe, could you elaborate?
Well, not too bad language. What can you tell us about Blackroot?
Oh, I see. It is well, it's partially cycle based for one, which means every little time loss you notice it's less of a minor thing and could actually add up to a lot more. So which makes it rather stressful, and especially for a tournament, there's a lot of places where you could lose quite a bit of time to unfortunate deaths and such.
That is both an unfortunate truth and just, well, Blackroot, how are ya?
Yeah, Blackroot's special. It also suffers from being so early in the game, so you don't really have a lot of abilities to work with. So you're kind of at the mercy of a lot of these traps and stuff, whereas at the end of the game you can usually cheese most of the puzzles.
Skull
getting a good orb drop there, which is good.
Getting a good orb drop and getting a very nice jump up to that.
I just noticed Skull went for a rekindled. This Skull not doing a magnet right here.
I'm not sure how her experience was going in to Blackroot, so she might have had too much to take magnet.
Yeah, I didn't notice, but it looks like they're definitely adapting well. So experience routing is still gonna be a thing. It's a lot more passive in the end game, but for the first 2 level ups, they're gonna be in very specific locations. So that's determines why Skull may have gone for that decision.
Now Acrid did go for magnet, so
yeah. Acrid getting a little bit more of a trolley orb spawn there. It is on a cycle, so you can't really predict if it's going to drop immediately or not.
Well, Acrid going for a reload right there. Now, I'm not sure if that was specifically for him to deal with cycles or to despawn the experience right there.
Yeah, I wasn't, I haven't, Acrid's UI is not up, so I'm not sure if that wasn't a choice due to dodging that experience by literally despawning it, but...
Well, I did get a good cycle going into the platforms at the top of the laser, so that's always nice.
Yeah, so Skull making it through that upper area pretty well. It's not hard, but it's punishing if you fall off of one of those platforms, so it's better safe than sorry there.
Loses about 8 seconds or so, which is basically what every cycle loses you in this game.
Yeah, as I said earlier, BRB is cycle-based. All these platforms, you're trying to catch certain platforms at certain times, so if you miss if there's enough time lost, you're not going to catch these cycles. And all things considered at the start, they're still fairly close. I'd say, not more than 20 seconds difference. So it's literally anyone's game still.
Skull picking up the dash tree and is going to set up her dash glide leaving the area.
Yeah, dash gliding is a cool mechanic. You can actually exploit the extreme momentum you get from dashes by jumping and then not doing any inputs, and for whatever reason it just preserves that speed. And you can use it to go over things like the slow zones from cutscenes. And you asked me for my thoughts on BRB, so what are your thoughts on Frankie Walk? Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, this is a main reason why Magnet is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Because Frankie Walk is the main reason. You were saying a bunch about how experience riding is super important, and it's for this main trick.
Yeah, this trick is one of the reasons why the first 10 minutes of the run are sort of a different beast from the rest. It's nice level up without the magnet. That the timing and the positioning for that experience cloud that you generate is a lot more precise. And she got the level up there, which opened the door. The reason being is because you only have 2 energy here, but that door demands 4, so it's a bit of a sequence break to exploit the fact that you get refilled after you level up.
And she's gonna take that save to save immediately. Goes for the nice little swag jump there.
Yeah, that little, not having to climb from the bottom, it's a nice time save. I'll say Skull has been pretty... Oh, and yeah, and Acrid getting a similar on the right side, getting the
10% energy drop too, which is nice.
Yeah, very safe. That basically eliminates as much of the risk factor of this area that we call the death run, because you enter it with 0 energy. So on average, you're not going to see a lot of safety saves dropped here simply because you don't have the luxury of it. Also getting the swag movement there, taking a bonk on the slime, but Acrid hit enough health.
And did take the save right before, which is always nice.
Yeah, I'm noticing both of them are being very tactical with their saves. Skull actually went for a rekindle leaving dash, which I thought, it's like any chance you can get to be safer, it makes sense. The best double jump for Skull being 1058, so this is going to be a double jump PB for sure.
Speaking of being safe with that, deciding to kill the slime and not actually go over it, which is always a little spooky.
Yeah, it can be scary, but both of them had laid down quite a few safety measures, so I could breathe easy as I watched them do it. Even watching Acrid get some unfortunate momentum causing him to actually hit the slime.
Alright, looks like Acrid is going to go for the blind movement.
Yeah, Acrid choosing to do slightly more advanced strat where you can actually overwrite what keeps Ori stationary by doing a save and load during that cutscene. It's scary because you traverse a lot of pits using double jumps and dash glides, but if you memorize the movement, it's never it can be consistent.
Sorry, I just have to chuckle over that Froggy just sailing over Acrid.
Yeah, that was pretty acrobatic. Also worth mentioning, I didn't mention, as Skull was going for grotto skip, which Acrid is now currently doing. She got a really good one. I don't know if it was first try, but it was within the first 2 or 3. Same with Acrid, I think that was 3rd try. And grotto skip just being finicky because you have a tiny little piece of ground that you actually have to use to get a double jump off of.
refreshing your double jumps on walls is always super annoying sometimes. That's why this
Yeah.
split is actually one of my least favorite, because just so much wall jumping. So much precise movement.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny, like we said, with all skills, by virtue of the category, the end game looks radically different because you have every skill, you know, available to you, and you'll see that in this area it's a lot more movement and platforming based than it does become later, which makes things like, you know, double jumps off walls being crucial to your speed. And what they're both going to be doing is going for activating a teleport here, which will matter in the end game. It looks a little arbitrary at the moment, but I believe both are going to be going for the ability cell at the top. I think with the experience drops they do, it demands that because they're going to be down one.
I believe that is the case. Neither of these runners goes for the experience routing of Crazy Juggle, which is a trick that is extremely difficult to do much later on. In fact, since Acrid is on controller, I don't believe that's extremely possible for him to do.
Yeah, it's some strats are just made possible and not possible depending on the input scheme you're using.
Oh, and he takes a bit of damage from the spike.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to deal 2, so I think Acrid at best is going to be at 2 health here, making it past that swinger just in time.
Alright, so he's back up to 3.
Yeah, back up to 3, which is good, and taking 2, so that's going to bring him down to 1, but he made it, and getting a good entry there, all things considered. So far this early game has been really clean on both their parts. I'm not sure what their Energinzo times are, but practically sub 14 for both is going to be really solid. So this will be interesting going into the second half.
Yeah. Now, the Ginso Tree being the first dungeon of the game, and really the only one we do. Well, we don't even do it fully, because we don't actually finish the escape at this point. Skull deciding to go for the lower route between the two.
Yeah, this route it's only marginally different in terms of speed, but it feels a lot different. So depending on what you'd rather be doing, one may be just more comfortable in general for the other. And getting the teleporter movement there, well, same with Acrid.
And both of our runners, Acrid taking an interesting save in this room.
Yeah, on the top portion. I suppose it's never a bad idea really anywhere in the tree to take a save, considering how punishing it can be. Skull entering the mini boss here, where shoot pattern and efficiency is going to make a big difference, because you can actually, it changes how many cycles you might end up getting for this one. Trying to get as many double hits as you can.
Acrid taking a bit of damage from it.
Yeah, Acrid taking 1 from that, so that should be. I think the projectiles only deal 1, whereas the spikes take 2. So Skull, I think, getting a 6 cycle, which is really good.
Acrid getting trolled by the mini boss positions.
Yeah, the spawns aren't they're fairly random, so you just really have to adapt. And Acrid seem to just be jumping from one side of the arena to the other.
Yeah,
I believe Acrid's health is actually good now to do the damage boost, from what I can tell. Or, yeah.
That it is. Now, both these runners coming up to the Bash tree. What's your favorite part of the Bash skill, Siki?
My favorite part of the Bash skill? Honestly, just some of the unique movement that it generates. You know, just exploiting the momentum you get from it and gliding through the air. How about you?
Throwing projectiles.
Throwing projectiles is pretty fun and useful in this context here. Right after getting it, they're going to be doing a lot of projectile puzzles.
Speaking of projectile puzzles, Oof, Acrid having to bash the shot a second time through the portal.
Yeah, the aiming it there can be finicky. You have kind of a narrow path, so. But the second time around, it went really well. And they're both moving on to key duping. So here they're going to be dropping a save at the bottom. Really good movement on both parts. And Skull getting a successful dupe. That part can be a little scary. You have to die in a very specific spot so you can you can still put in the little door keys there. But...
And Acrid as well getting a successful first try key dupe. So that time difference between them is actually shrunken even more, considering that Skull had to do a second bounce off that lantern and Acrid did not.
Yeah, even that kind of thing is really changing the gap they have. It's been closing ever since the first death in Glades, which is nice. I couldn't tell if they went for hyperspeed, but
I believe both of them looked like they tried to set it up, but did not get it.
yeah, in this setting, if you find yourself setting it up, taking too long to set it up, it's usually just worth it to go for the ghost door alone. Wow, it's yeah, like you said, from the key dipping movement, this has got even closer to within 4 or 5 seconds of each other, and they're gonna just be.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, nothing. Oh, it looks like Skull actually it isn't going for the same ability or experience cell that Acrid does. I noticed that Skull was taking a lot more. Took 2 experience cells in the projectile room. So there's just some variance there in experience routing.
Now both runners presuming to not have the laser show up. Acrid going for a bit of the blind movement and dunks the frog immediately.
Yeah,
or Froggo.
Let's see. Oh, but did drop the save there. So because of their blind movement, they were actually positioned rather close when they dropped that save. So that was actually a minimal time loss. It looks like Skull did have to re-enable that save, or reuse it, I should say. But they're back there doing it.
Acrid, that was interesting. Instead of going for the buffering method for the bashes, actually just decided to bash himself up to the ceiling.
Yeah, using the bait method where they get that first projectile to send them up, and then using the frog to send the second one. And that does mean for a lead change due to that swamp entry. Skulblaka fortunately having a little more trouble. But that being said, the gap is rather small still.
Skull missing just the slight jump onto that bottom of the swinging platform, so she'll be a little further behind, but not nearly by much. This could be one Kuro cutscene skip in the other direction.
Exactly, yeah. There are still many tricks in this game that are high risk, high reward, so depending on what happens. Oh, Acrid taking a little bit of damage from the spikes there, but dropping a save, so it's less worrisome here. And getting a good that bash collect going to that ability spell can be really precise and a little scary.
Alright, if you look on the right-hand side of your screens, Acrid is going for a thing where if he gets it right, we will not see a darn thing at all, and that's what we want.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's supposed to happen there. People tell me that there's a cutscene, but I've never really seen it. Honestly, I think it's a myth.
Maybe.
See, the success rate for Skull being actually rather high for CS skip, 83%, so let's see. She's now going for the same thing. Opting for a reload after missing the first one. You can tell when you miss it because the camera does begin to spawn and then you hear the cutscene start, so. Rather than just watching it, it looks like she's going to see if she can skip it again, and she does.
She is going to get it the second time, which is still faster if you do manage to get the skip and the reload second time. She's going to go for this 5th health cell just for a little bit more safety and sorrow. all of the spikes in Sorrow do 4 damage and will try and kill you.
Yeah, coming up to this area, it's sort of assumed that you've gathered quite a bit of stuff, because I think this is where we're approaching what a lot of the seasoned Ori runners refer to as the left side of the map. If you can keep up with our speed lingo here, and
It's
in
not
that
really
area,
the halfway point, but it is the point at which everything starts to really kick off, so to speak.
yeah, and this is where we're gonna be seeing tricks such as charge dashing, which changes the game quite a bit, as you'll see pretty soon. Skull getting the charge flame skill, but unfortunately not getting a good manipulation on the Frankie, so she had to take a slightly longer route.
And Acrid has fallen, unfortunately, back to the Hollow Grove tree.
Yeah, taking a death there, like Pugel said, that yeah, this area, more or less everything here is going to be a one-hit kill, and because Acrid did not opt for that 5th one, the risk there is going to be slightly higher in his case.
All these spikes do 3 damage, everything else does 1 or 2. Basically, he's got 1 free hit before he's going to start worrying.
Yeah, you can't really allow yourself to tank too many hits here, assuming you don't go for a lot of safety saves.
And looks like he's not. Some people like to make these safety saves at the bottom of that shaft. I know I do it just for the sake of, well, not being as good.
Yeah, no, yeah, I similarly play this area rather safe. It looks like Acrid, yeah, they're both going to be going for fast Stompless here, as far as I know. Setting up these shots can be pretty precise, so Acrid opting for a 2nd attempt. That one looks
better.
very good. Fingers crossed that Acrid got that. You don't really know until you see the cutscene.
He's good.
Great. Okay, yeah, that was really good. 2nd attempt at setting that up, but lost very little time and still faster than taking that self first before activating the cutscene.
Oh no, and Skull missed her shot. Oh no, and the spider's dead too.
This could mean that Skull is just opting to reload that save, yeah, because otherwise there isn't really a way to get back there. Dropping the save right before setting up the shot, though, was a good idea, because then they didn't really have to do the movement back up. That angle looking really good.
There we go, and now she gets it.
Acrid coming up here on the right side of the screen on one of the most infamous tricks in the game. Going to be setting up these bashes really precisely and getting a really good...
And makes it look like absolutely nothing, and will continue his 100% success rate of that trick.
Yeah, throughout the tournament, Acrid has been displaying really good consistency with that trick. I was about to, kind of go into depth about the precision of it, but Acrid makes it look so simple.
He is not going for a safety save, though.
Yeah, not going for a safety save here means that if he were to take a death in this area before dropping another, you would have to repeat Sorrow Bash.
And he's going for stop cancels in the middle of it!
Yeah, that was impressive, I'll say for sure. Dropping these stop cancels. You don't have a lot of room to work with here. But Acrid knows what he's doing. He made it. Fortunately for Skull, getting a really good Sorrow Bash there, exploiting the fact that she has 1 extra health than Acrid does, so she can actually take a hit in the spikes there.
And there's the safety save for her, so she doesn't
dropping
have
a
to worry
really
about
good safety save there, yeah, by the Frankie. So Acrid setting up the save anywhere before leaving the spike cave here, which means he doesn't have to drop a 2nd one before going for Terror Break.
But he also can't really see. Oh, that is scary.
That was nerve-wracking. yeah, it's But that being said, everything's gone smoothly on his end for this section, very clean. Similarly for Skulblaka, honestly, this whole area has gone without any major mishaps. The gap remains unchanged.
And Now, experience routing isn't the most important from here on out. Skull taking a hit from the spikes.
Cashing in on that 5 health though. And making it through there. What were you saying about experience routing?
Well, experience routing isn't the most important per se, but runners do like to make sure that we have just enough experience to have between experience drops and ability cell drops to have 2 full points. 1 for the Terror Break and 1 for skipping that Sunstone cutscene because it's long and this is a speedrun and we don't want cutscenes in our speedrun.
Yeah, cutscenes, well, you know, pretty and well composed. Lend little to nothing to the speedrun. And Acrid getting a really clean movement out of there. Moving into Misty here, where we'll see the we'll see charge bashing in its go.
And Acrid taking some damage on the spikes. Misty also one of those areas where having spikes with 3 damage that will kill you.
Yeah. Taking the first hit, you dropped it down to 1, and then unfortunately got some spacing there was an issue. Not recovering really well though, just moving right back, dropping a save at the entry of Misty, so it's a good location to do that in case you take any deaths here. Trying to make sure that Frankie is in the right spot before going for that rocket jump, otherwise it could send you right into the spikes. Skulblaka coming up to the same section, let's see if she can get this.
Oh no!
Spending an energy on that missed rocket jump can be pretty painful for this area. Energy is not in abundance here, but recovering really well. That was, yeah, you know, having to take those is better than redoing the entrance. So
no, looks like neither. Okay, so I'd say neither runner has taken a safety save as of yet. Skull dropping one right there to make a liar out of me.
She read your mind.
Safety saves are always a fantastic thing. So if you're in a race, Seki, if you are on feeling like you're on pretty good pace in Misty, do you go for more safety saves or do you just go for it?
Honestly, I'm one of those people who I say if I've been, you know, given a chance to go fast, I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna, you know, it's not the time to play safe. But I don't finish a lot of runs, so maybe that's not the best philosophy.
Acrid saving himself from an early spike death, which is good. Because considering where Skull is, single death will put him behind!
I was hoping, watching that death, that he had dropped a save at the top, but not every runner chooses to do that because sometimes you only end up hurting yourself by spending so much energy on safety saves. And Acrid, you know, not really pulling any punches on these strats is probably going to be wanting to be saving as much as he can. That does mean this area can be rather brutal though, as you can tell.
Man, looks like Acrid took another death.
Yeah, getting some unfortunate luck on those stomp cancels. This could mean a lead change, assuming Skull keeps
Acrid put the safety save down. Skull did not.
Skull didn't. Acrid did, yeah, make it through, guaranteeing that he won't have to repeat that because of that safety save. Already taking damage here, so he is going to be at 1 health.
I'd wager that Skull's going to put a save at the 4th keystone.
Yeah, it looks like, hopefully right here, which she does, so. And getting an energy refill there, so that's going to help later. Having to improvise on that movement.
Oh, but Acrid going for the rocket jump! So, they are literally so...
They were neck and neck, although the gap isn't huge. It's the lead has changed maybe 3 or 4 times in this Misty because they're dropping safety saves in different spots and then having to use them at varying
capacities.
So, yeah. Skulblaka getting a really good mini boss fight. I actually. Oh wow, okay, Acrid also getting a really good one, killing them both in the first phase. And they're both getting that tactical level up.
Skull now on her way out of Misty to the last skill of the game. Acrid right on her heels.
Yeah, not far behind, yeah. I don't think the gap has ever been more than 20 seconds, and as of right now, it's even less than that, I think.
Acrid getting a little caught up on the bird, but he's gonna be heading out.
So, getting really good. Stomp cancels there means that Acrid is gonna have just enough energy. I was a little worried there, but not having to go for a refill here. You need, I think optimally, you'll need at least 2 for this area because you're going to be dropping 1 there for that lever glitch. They're actually doing a rekindle as they're pushing it, which means it gets stuck in that position, unintended. Skulblaka almost, well, missing that cycle, but then opting to wait instead of trying to beat it. Because we are back in BRB, we are once again on a cycle-based.
Oh!
That rocket jump, unfortunately, sending Ori a little too high.
Oh, and sends Skull into the spikes. Meanwhile, Acrid, due to that, is getting the grenade tree in him. We're seeing save contact. Because apparently one of Acrid's contacts has fallen out.
Oh my, I was not aware. Oh. Playing that off really well though, and actually, I guess the game was nice in giving Acrid a cutscene to watch while that happened. So Skulblaka not too far behind also, now they both have every ability, and they both just have the home stretch, leaving BRB and then heading to Mount Horu.
Now from, oh gosh, Skull.
Skull going for the
oh
rocket
gosh,
jump here.
Acrid.
Oh, so that's gonna send him back to all the way to BRB because of that rekindle. Luckily, Acrid did go for the rekindle there, leaving BRB. So
Acrid only slightly ahead because he went for the rocket jump there, but his boulder.
And
right,
going top route and getting it, yeah. So now Acrid is safe from there.
Misses.
Trying to snag this
no.
health cell. You know, in the name of being optimal, trying to snag it. Was that a?
I think he might
couldn't
wait
tell
to the
when I
Ginso
hit him.
tree. Oh no!
Okay, so that is going to be maybe a 7 or 8 second time loss, maybe more, just simply because Acrid has to reinitiate that teleport and then go back. That alone being enough for a lead change.
Oh goodness.
They don't be fooled. The gap here is still very close. Wow, this run has never been too far apart. The thing is, I don't know if they're watching each other, so I don't know if they know how close the gap is.
That is something I don't know either, unfortunately.
Skull went for a pretty went for a rocket jump, leaving light grenade, which made me suspect that maybe Skull knew that it was coming down to the wire, going for as many fast strats as she could.
Oh, this is going to come down to door warp.
Yep, this could come down to this trick, which is frame perfect and not consistent by any means, but by no fault of the runner, it just isn't. They're both gonna trigger the autosave here and then actually save and quit out of the game and try to enter the door on the first frame that reload, which changes their spawn point. Skull going for the first attempt of the run. And getting it first try, so this could mean and 2 first tries. Okay, the gap remains unchanged. It comes down to escape.
Oh, and Acrid missing that
to get
little
onto
bit of
the-
movement. Skull is gonna go into escape.
Everything is gonna hurt every little time loss because there's less than 2 minutes left here. Both of them seeing the owl at the same time.
So Skull is coming into escape with 7 health. So
And Skull already had
safer
6
swimming.
going in here, I believe. So Skull was gonna be fine. And the reason we mentioned that is because at the end there's gonna be a swimming portion where, because we never cleaned the water, it's gonna be hurting them, you know, as the clock ticks.
But Acrid getting
going
a
for it, not getting a stomp, which means the 7 health might still be okay. Without the stomp,
just barely.
the 7 health keeps Acrid alive. And they're both making their way up to the climb to the it comes down to the grenade jump.
It's gonna come down to grenade jump.
It's gonna be grenade jump.
Oh no. Oh, Skull
And
Bastion
Acrid
into the wall,
not getting it. And neither Skull.
The Skull Bastion into the wall though, which could end. Okay.
And
Acrid's
Acrid getting it
and
barely before Skull, so
goodness.
it comes down to Nora. Comes down to holding right.
Oh my goodness, that is so close.
That does mean it. You know, it's never too soon to tell, but Acrid might have just snagged the victory by sheer seconds, because at this point it is literally down to holding one input.
Oh my goodness, I was super worried for Skull, because bashing into the wall like that can end up increasing chances of soft lock.
Yeah. That final grenade jump isn't necessarily free. There's a chance of soft lock there. The difference being literally 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
37.50 and a 37.53 between these two runners is absolutely incredible.
I
lost
indeed
count.
Right. That is a 37.50 for Acridstingray and a 37.53 for Skulblaka. Oh my goodness.
Literally at any point in that run, I could not tell who had it. That was quite the run on both their ends. That being said, they're both free now to do interviews. I don't know if either is interested in hopping into the voice chat.
We will have to check and see whether or not they will be willing to interview.
And here we see the touch and cutscene where Kuro does the only thing she knows to do, which is sacrifice herself to save the tree. To give some insight on the lore here.
This is a speedrun. Lore?
Yeah, no one cares about the story. We skip those cutscenes.
We skip everything.
So let's see if we can get these runners in here.
That is not the proper graph for this race. But it's okay, because that's just going to give you a preview of what our next race in the day is going to be, which is going to be quite an interesting race. But we'll let them talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, right now, Skull and Acrid are the players of the hour, so let's see.
We're trying to see if Acridstingray is going to pop in here for an interview. We're not certain on that fact at the moment. But as we're waiting on that, Acrid is going to move on in the tournament. Skull, unfortunately, being knocked out by 3 seconds.
Yeah, but you know, putting up a fight the whole way through, that was by no means a shutout. You know, Skull doing incredibly well. So that was a good performance on their end, and that puts Acrid coming up against I believe Covert Muffin for the next bracket.
The round of 48 indeed. Acrid and Covert Muffin will be facing off against one another due to the results of this race.
Yeah, round of 48. All these matches are going to be pretty interesting. So, let's see. So Acrid hopefully being able to hop in here and do a quick interview. Looks like Skulblaka has politely declined to do an interview, but yeah, shout outs to them for that.
That really close race. Holy heck. That was a heck of a run from both runners. That was I believe the closest race to date that we have had in this tournament.
I'm fortunate I was able to do a play-by-play of that run. That was my heart was beating the whole time.
And we are joined by the Acridstingray himself. How are you doing?
Pretty well, I guess.
Yeah, that. Did you have the stream up? Were you keeping track of Skull's pace during
Yeah,
that
I
run?
was. I was looking at the stream every time there was a cutscene.
So I'm sure you were feeling it during when it came down to the grenade jump. It was. It
No,
was a
I got
matter
the
of
grenade jump, and
inputs.
then I looked over and I was like, "Wait, she's grenade jumping too. Did I win or did I lose?"
Yeah, for you,
Yeah.
it's with the stream delay. It's like, no idea. But yeah, that was incredible. Going that 7 health at the end, being
No, I actually went for
a really
6
good
health.
play. Oh,
I
for
went
6
for-
health.
Yeah, but I've been practicing 5 health, so I think I did 4 health swims, which I think kind of saved me there.
Yeah,
Because,
definitely
he
not a
didn't
bad
stop me
idea.
in the water. And
So, you had said that you had swapped controllers just yesterday. How has that been affecting the play?
I mean, if you saw, I couldn't stomp into the water. I can't seem to stomp consistently on this controller. So sometimes I just fall down.
Yeah, I was.
Things happen.
Yeah, so yeah, I take it it's just been a bit of an adjustment. Luckily, though, for the most part, it seems that you've been.
Yeah, the controller layout is more or less the same. Like, it's not an Xbox One controller, but it's some kind of cheap knockoff of a 361.
Mhm.
So it's not that hard to get used to. It's just, yeah, pressing down sometimes doesn't work apparently. I think the dead zones are kind of messed up.
So take us back to Misty for a second. You said you were watching the restream, watching Skull play as well. What was going through your head when you realized that you were neck and neck?
Misty was really interesting because I was like doing my Misty up until climb, and then suddenly I started the climb animation. There was something in my eye, so I went to touch it, and my contact lens fell off. And
Yeah,
then
we
if you
got
saw the
word of
grenade
that.
split, I was constantly dying because I couldn't really see. I was trying to do it with a single eye, closing the other one, but I'm not that good at that. So shenanigans happened, but I think I somehow managed to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, with only one eye to use there, that was. I'd say you're a trooper getting through Misty with those conditions. It must have been hard for you to keep track of the pace because you were both dropping safety saves and capitalizing on them just because of how unforgiving Misty was. So the
Yeah,
lead changed quite a bit there.
I didn't look too much at Misty to be honest because I mean it's Misty, I'm constantly doing movement. But I did look on the TP and I saw that was pretty close. Well, not that close, but not far apart either.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
Ginso TP head is pretty scared for a couple seconds.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm TPing the swamp. I stopped looking at the game. I look at the stream, and then when I looked back at the game, I was on this, and I was like, wait, why?
Well, thank you for coming in here to talk. Thank you. Congratulations on the victory. You're going to be going up against Covert Muffin in your next match. Do you have any thoughts about that going in?
I don't think I'm winning that one. I mean,
Alright.
I can try, but I seriously don't think I have a chance there.
Well, you did get a 35 and a half PB just recently, so I think you're going to be good. You got this. Come on.
Yeah.
Make Muffin shake in his boots.
I'll believe. I'll
Yeah,
try to believe.
I believe in you, Acrid. I think that'll be a fantastic race.
All right, well, thank you, Acrid, for joining us. Good job on your race. Good job to Skulblaka as well. We are going to wrap up here for the time being. On Speed Gaming, in a few hours at 5 p.m. EDT, is going to be Sully versus Uncle Ronnie, which is that graph you saw for a couple seconds on your screen prior. It's going to be on the main Speed Gaming channel. Gonna be pretty good. Y'all should come back for that. It's going to be a good time. I have been Poogle. I have been joined by Sekinar.
Yeah. That was really fun. Yeah, I did that commentary.
Thank you, everyone, for being around, and see you all in a few hours.
Yeah, catch y'all later.
as they head through. So, ooh, nice job. And wow, Yoko. Oh,
No.
goodness.
Oh no,
Yoko.
Yoko. Oh my goodness. Please be careful.
He hasn't taken any like really bad deaths as a result, but
Oh no!
no! Why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, true shade. So we're gonna see what D2 decides to do. Nice safety save there, and wow, the value from the safety save.
The trick itself requires precisely positioning a frog and managing your XP, but because that can happen, because that froggy has a chair and it can stomp it right on your tiny little head.
Oh god, Milton, get out of there!
Holy crap, the recovery from that.
Like, it's deceptive. Ooh, deceptively difficult. Rufus.
Holy
so close.
crap, Rufus.
Oh.
Oh god.
Fix it.
And what is happening now?
I don't know.
Oh, Monkey's shot going through.
Oh, he's missed the double bash though. He's gotta go back up. Monkey's shots are facing the floor. I hope he does not hit that on the upper one. Jesus, broken his swamp.
Oh, Monkey getting hit by the shot.
Metal that Terra did. Oh, missing that, but he's got the backup. That's okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh god.
Oh my gosh. Okay, try again. This time you can get to the one-on-one.
What you've seen from runners like Lucidus, Uncle Ronnie, and Eviona so far in the tournament, and oh wow!
Bam!
I do not know how he survived.
Both runners getting that 5th.
Oh, Randomson had a really... Wow, what a nice backup, though. Randomson had trouble with the first spider shot, but now it's basically tied.
Go stomp the rocks. And oh,
Fluffy, what
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh,
You really just keep moving and skip that cutscene?
Oh god, Hori's in the air! Hello!
Oh no. Oh, Frankie. Frankie, please go away. Oh, that is so painful.
Oh, this is a party. Luckily, he does have a safety.
Yeah, mini boss not quite going according to plan. Melvin's gonna go with the stomp spam. Keep that frog away. Get out of here. Don't hit me with your chair. He says he gets through it okay, and we'll be just finishing up Misty.
The section is really difficult with the 5 health. Alright, he gets the bash off of the fish. So yeah, he gets through, but upcoming here is
He's on Kuro!
Oh, he died! Death! Richard is in the lead. No, they're tied. Richard just died as well.
What?
This is literally synced in the final escape, guys. Unbelievable.
They both stopped the thing together. Okay.
Each one of those grenades costs 1. He's got 1 left. That's enough for 2 grenade jump attempts. If he keeps missing in that particular way, he's got 1 chance left.
One more.
And he gets it! The
First
clutch.
try, and well, not first try, but you know what? First try.
We'll call it first try.